You know, because I've come and gone, this isn't really my home on a permanent basis. So I think it's a little different for me, but certainly my mother, who I wish she was here, because she's very much a part. I mean, everybody knows her, and I think at the time that we moved in, because most of the people were retired or had very, very young children, she was the only person who was sort of that age where, plus, given the fact that she was a teacher, she was given a great deal of trust and sort of importance within the community, because people think of her as a reliable person, as someone who can be, who's trustworthy, and it's a position of trust, really, to be a teacher. And it was very much, you know, that seemed very important to them at the time. So yeah, I would say that that's very much true.
What does the word community mean to you?
Community?
Yeah.
The word community mean to me? Sticking together,
Yeah.
you know, knowing each other, living peacefully. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's being one, really.
This is where I grew up. So, you know, it's not just, the community is not just this square to me. The community is much wider. The estate we can see from our windows with the funny green blocks, Cranbrook. My mum lives there. Mia's dad, he's still my partner, we just don't live together, lives there. I know a lot of people there. And all the surrounding areas, even some of my old school friends still live around here. So, you know, their kids are friends now with my kids. So when it comes to that, yeah, it's quite comforting knowing everyone around.
Probably just like a group of people that spend time with each other and communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen a great deal here, I wouldn't say. Unless there is one that we're just not part of. And everyone's always talking to each other, but we're just not.
I think trust and friendship has, you know, sort of primary, especially if you live in a big city. Well, I've lived in the country as well as the city, and I think in the country, you know, to some degree, people say you leave your back door open and you can do that. We really did do that, and I'm not sure that exists anymore. We lived in the country in the 70s, and I don't think that level of trust or that level of safety exists even in the country anymore. But it is a great deal to do with the friendship that you have, and the fact that you feel surrounded by people who you don't necessarily have everything in common with. It's not like a friendship that you enjoy doing everything together. It's lucky if you have that, but it does vary from person to person. You don't have all that in common with each other necessarily in terms of all your interests. Yeah. But it is a sense of caring.
Even on the train, I sit and talk to people. If they're sitting facing me, he reads the paper and they might smile and go, I go, lovely day, isn't it, you know, and you start chatting. Yeah, don't matter what colour they are, I'll just sit there and have a chat, which is nice. Yeah, makes the world go round.
Yeah, and you get to know a person.
Yeah, that's right, which is lovely.
A nation is a society united by a delusion about its ancestry and by common hatred of its neighbours. Which is quite a pessimistic and negative view of a nation, but probably an accurate one. Then again, it's more difficult to say that nowadays because British identity in that sense is a lot harder to define with the amount of people sort of coming in and going out and all that. Which hopefully, many people probably don't, means that people will think less of national identity in future, but, you know, or not, as things like the BNP probably demonstrate.
People have discovered that they can fool the devil, but they can't fool the neighbours.
So what do you sort of think about that?
What do I think about that?
Yeah.
I don't think you can fool the devil, mate. I really don't. The devil will fool you, but I don't believe you can fool the devil, mate. Yeah, I suppose you can fool. Yeah, you can fool the neighbours. You can. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
But do you think it sort of gives a sense that the neighbours sort of know everything, or
No,
they're
they don't know
they
everything.
don't know everything?
Don't know everything.
They think they know everything.
They think they do.
The way to forget on in the world is to be neither more nor less wise, either better nor worse than your neighbour.
And just to consider that quote and what it implies, and what it says, what do you think about it? Like,
Well, I agree with that.
yeah,
I agree with it, you know. Which I always said, you're not on this earth forever. So my motto is always get on with everyone and be friendly.
yeah.
And which is, we've always agreed with that. I mean, if you can't get on with your neighbours, you're going to be unhappy.
A good neighbour is a fellow who smiles at you over the back of the fence but doesn't climb over it. You know, I'm right in the middle of the balcony here, as you, and it's like good side, bad side. I'm like the dividing line. You know, you're just over the good side, but I'm like the dividing line. And we usually use the stairs further up because everywhere we're going in that direction. And yeah, you're very lucky to get a smile off of most of them.
Good fences make good neighbours. A good fences as in, what, does that build barriers against neighbours?
I guess, like,
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. No, I don't think that's true. I think there are obviously, I mean, in our experience has been completely different than, you know, the fact that they're that close to us and that makes a huge difference, especially when we're away for large chunks of time. They do. Just from a practical point of view, they look after the house. We've always felt safe and protected.
So that's how I look at life. You know, everybody has to get on with everyone, and because you're not on this earth forever.